Step into our world where pets take the lead. Where Alicia stories fulfilling every need. Funny, cute, and passionate, that's our style. Get ready for a wild ride, it's gonna make you smile. Paws and claws, where the magic's at. We're repping the pet industry, that's a fact. With love in our hearts, we'll make it known. In this podcast, pets reign on the throne. So join us on this journey, let's have some fun. In this pet podcast, our love for pets won't be undone. Paws and claws, we're here to shine. Spreading pet love one verse at a time.
Hey guys, it's Warren Hondia. I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing, and this is the first episode of Pet Brand Podcast. Today, we have a special guest on our podcast, Paula Bryan, a true expert in the pet grooming industry. She is the founder of Clipit Grooming. She also came up with the idea of Clipit Suit, a revolutionary product designed to make pet grooming more comfortable and efficient. Paula's expertise and personal experience have led to her consulting for large pet retailers, chairing the Dog Groomer Association, and being a director of the pet industry. Today, she joins us to share her knowledge and insight on the industry and her brand. So thanks, Paula, for being a part of this podcast.
Good morning, Varnit. How are you?
Doing great, doing good. So yeah,
Good.
so basically, like every single podcast, like starts with, like the past, like what's the journey, how do things get started? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you the same question, like what inspired you to start a pet brand, like, or to just get started in the pet industry? It's like what inspired you to start this journey?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it goes back many moons ago. I've been in the pet industry for over, the pet grooming specifically, for over 35 years. And it really goes back to where the origins of where my father started a business in actually developing and producing a shampoo that contained pure levels of evening primrose oil for treating dogs with skin complaints. I joined him in, bringing that product to market. And truthfully, I've always been brought up with dogs and horses, but at the time, I was in a totally different industry. So, coming into a marketplace that where we were making specific dog shampoo for skin ailments was quite alien to me. So, yes, I had to learn very quickly on my feet about the industry and and what really a dog groomer wanted within their business.
And how old were you back then?
Oh my gosh, I was probably about just in my early 20s. So dog grooming has come on an awful long way since then. So and the company just started off with several products, and the rest is history, as they say.
Wow, that's amazing. And like, every single pet brand or every single, whatever brand that we are starting, like every single pet brand has this certain like a USP about it, right? Unique selling thing that differentiate that from other pet brand, right? So what exactly is the USP of Clipit Grooming that you think differentiate from like other competitors in the market?
Okay, so Clipit Grooming started off with this all-in-one suit that I developed. So anyone that does clipping or grooming of animals knows it's purgatory with the hair penetration that, hair comes off the animal and it can stick into your clothes. Not only is that really a health hazard for you, but also at the end of the day, it's not great for your washing machine and everything else. Hair sticks to everything. So I came up with this suit that actually is a revolutionary garment that you wear it and literally the hair just falls off it. So you can step out of the suit and, you can carry on your day without all that hair. So, and I thought to myself at the time, this is a product that I'm actually caring for the pet owner, and the pet owner can care for the animal that they're grooming. So basically the business Clipit Grooming is based around producing and developing game-changing products for the person that does the grooming and also the dog. Because everything has moved forward so much nowadays that people want to buy good quality products at a reasonable price, but it does what it says on the front of the can, and it's going to develop all the unique features that you're looking for with a new product.
That's amazing. And also, like, to start launch a new product, it requires a lot of like innovations, right? So like,
Mm.
can you walk us through the process of developing a new pet grooming product, like from getting the idea to conceptualizing to like to launch it, right? So what factors do you consider during this whole process, how this whole process looks like?
So obviously knowing the industry so well, I look at the whole industry. So, from my experience, so my background is shampoo and skincare for dogs. I've also had a business where we would maintain and service grooming equipment.
Mm.
And then obviously on top of that, I know what grooming equipment a professional dog groomer would require, whether it's a clipper, a pair of scissors,
Mm.
workwear to protect themselves, a shampoo that can easily achieve some great results, because don't forget, they're dealing with someone's beloved pet. So if I take, for instance, my Quattro cordless clipper that I brought to the marketplace last August, September,
Mm.
the industry have been used to clippers that are very heavy in the hand. They're,
Okay.
they're very slow. They don't always give you the results that you're looking for. And on top of that, the blades that come with it can also cause issues with,
Mm.
brand new blades put on a clipper. Sometimes the equipment lets you down. So
Mm.
I set about, creating this new clipper, which when you look at it, looks more like a trimmer. It's super lightweight. It weighs half the weight that a normal clipper would be. It is the quickest clipper in the market. And when I talk about speed
Mm.
of a clipper gives you several functions. It gives you a much better finish. It takes the coat off quicker. It doesn't leave what we call tram lines behind. Plus also being super lightweight, it's great for
Mm.
the groomer that can, because a groomer will have a clipper in her hand,
Mm.
anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a day, and that actually
Yeah.
gives them shoulder
Mm.
pain, elbow pain. So you
Mm.
know what, it goes back to, we are developing products to make
Mm.
people's lives easier.
Mm. And also like the person who has so much experience, that's the only person who can, do this kind of innovation. If somebody don't have this kind of like sort of experience, like of pet grooming only, they cannot create innovation in the industry, right?
No, you can't, because more than anything else, Barnett, you've got to know the industry.
Mm.
You are appealing to a professional person here. You have
Mm.
to talk to them professionally, like and so if you take, for instance, we've just done a post last night on about different combs, grooming combs for different,
Mm.
for a groomer, and we've been able to actually suggest the 5 topic combs that are dog grooming, because if you look at a dog grooming comb, there are so many varieties on the marketplace. So if you're a student coming into the industry, it
Mm.
can be very daunting to a student knowing what grooming equipment they need. So
Yeah.
with my experience, I can then talk to them at the level that they need, because with cost implications increasing, we
Mm.
can give them the best equipment that's going to do a good job, but is actually going to give them longevity. And I think that only comes from the years of experience
Mm.
that I've
Mm.
had within the industry, Varnett.
Mm. And also like the reason why, like you said, that you also had like growing up a lot of like dogs around you and horses around you, right? So I think that the reason why I also started in the pet industry is like I also have a dog, and like
Ah.
I'm like very, yeah, I was passionate about dogs and animals since like the beginning, right? So like what I wanted, like, can you share some of the memorable heartwarming stories that you have, like for the years that you have been working with dogs and horses? Any memorable stories that you can remember that you want to share with the audience?
Well, do you know what? The one memorable, personal memorable, is like when my
Mhm.
father, my mum and dad bought me my first horse.
Okay.
And I was a very young child at the time, and I'd been working with all the local stables and grooming,
Mhm.
local stables, and I so passionately wanted a horse of my own. And then one Christmas, the snow was on the ground, and my parents took me into the lounge, to the front room to unwrap our presents, and there was a saddle. And I said to my parents, "Oh, a saddle, is that for me?" They said, "Well, you better look out the window." And as I looked out the window, there was this horse looking out of its stable door, and it was just like a fairy tale. And and truthfully, I think, if you're passionate about animals, the one thing that you want to do is work with animals, or work to show the love of an animal. And and it's all about passion. At the end of the day, anyone that comes into the pet industry is passionate. They love the industry. They love caring for animals, and that's basically why I'm here, for the care of an animal.
Amazing. And also, like, you have a brand, and one of the most important thing about brand is like taking care of the customers, right? So one of the most important thing is taking the customer feedback. Whatever product that you're giving, whatever service that you're providing, you need to understand like what feedback that you're getting and how you can innovate your services around that, right? So how do you maintain a strong relationship with your customer, and like what role does customer feedback play in your product development process?
Well, again, it's a very good question, because I really believe, and I entail this in the people that work for me. We have to give a personal service, and the personal service is, if someone rings up and they say, "Paula, I've got a certain breed. What would you recommend that I groom my dog in?" And we can actually advise that person, that groomer, that pet owner. You need this, this, and this. And because what we're trying to do, and what I have been very fortunate, I've built myself as an industry authority. So the first thing people have got to learn is trust from you. Once you have that customer trust, truthfully, they'll come back time and time again. And not every time, and I'm not saying that we are, we get always satisfy everybody, but what, we go out of our means to, if you look at our Trustpilot reviews, we're classed as excellent. And every one of those customers, we like to put our arm around them, because that's what the Clipit brand is. It's a heart in the shape of a clip, and that stands for love. And it's not just about the love of the products, it's about the love of the customers. And I truly believe that my business grows because we love our customers. We love to, give them the best advice. And I think that wins time and time again, Varnit. We are not just, a faceless company on the back of the internet selling you any old product. We truly believe that we give you the best advice for what you're looking for, really, in a product.
Actually, recently I was watching, there's a platform called AdWord Pro. So basically it's like a Netflix for marketers. Okay. So basically they talk about like what's happening in the industry, the Facebook ad, like what's working, what's not working. And I was going through this thing, like with Facebook ads, the cost of acquisition of the customer is rising. Okay, so brands, like when this just get started, right? They feel like that, okay, so the cost is rising and we are not able to compete, right? We are not like we are spending a lot of money on the ads, and the ROI is like very, bad, right? But that person said that you don't want just like a one-hit wonder, right? You don't want to just sell your service just for one, right? We are looking for retainers here, right? And the only way you can make a customer retainer, like it doesn't matter what is the cost of acquisition of that one customer, but the thing that matters is the experience, right? First they discover you through an ad, and then they go through the discovery phase. Then you sell them the product, then they see the packaging, and they see the experience. Like that's the experience, right? After that, they give the feedback. Then after the feedback, they become your loyal customer. Okay. And then once they become your loyal customer, they go on a retainer basis, right? So it doesn't matter the cost of acquisition. It matters like how well your product is and how many times you can sell that product to that person. And like you said, like since you have that trust factor in it, it doesn't matter what's the cost of acquisition of the customer, but like the thing that matter is that you need to understand like what's the feedback of that, and you need to provide the best service that you can. And
Mm,
with that retainer model, that is going to, scale your brand in your
mm,
industry.
mm. Oh, I agree, because at the end of the day, we have customers that we go to a lot of trade shows, and we do horse shows and we do dog shows, because again, I believe you have to go to these shows
Hmm.
because people have to see who is behind the brand. And
Yeah.
again, you can't build a relationship with your customer over the telephone. You can't build a relationship with your customer on the back
Hmm.
of a web page.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
truly believe by going to shows, you build that relationship. So if I take, for instance, a couple of months ago, we went to a show and a customer bought a Clipit suit from us. Now, she had seen us at a show for the last 3 years. She'd been to that show for the last 3 years. And
Hmm.
it actually took her 3 years on to actually buy my
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wow, at the end of the day, there you go. Someone has had to take 3 years to trust my brand, because a lot of people say, well, you know what, I don't want to buy a product, and then maybe you're not around as a company next year. And again, we had a lady yesterday that phoned and placed an order for a new clipper. And again, she saw us at a show last week, and she said, Paula, I've come back to buy your clipper.
Hmm.
I've seen all the great comments and all the work on social media
Hmm.
about this clipper.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
now feel comfortable in buying this clipper. And yeah,
Hmm.
she went and bought it yesterday. But people have to trust you. They have to
Hmm.
trust your company, trust your business,
Hmm.
and see some of the reviews of what other customers are writing about it. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And another thing, like recently I came across this specific ad format which is called ETA, which is basically it's a very simple ad that people are running these days for the brand. It's called what they are using is that like a simple stock images, not even like expensive footage of the brand, not even that. Simple stock images, for example, for dogs and dogs playing and all that stuff, and they are just copy pasting the screenshot of the reviews. That's it. That's all what they're doing. And these are the
mm,
ads that are outperforming the ads that are people are spending on the creative, on the UGC, on the influencer. They're paying the influencer, and these are the simple ads that are outperforming. So obviously your brand will grow only because of a customer doesn't really trust your brand, but they are going to trust some other customer, other stranger who have bought from your
mm,
brand, right? So
mm,
that's the
mm,
only way they're going to trust you more, by seeing the
mm,
reviews, by seeing the testimonial. So that's why these are
mm.
the things like working well in the industry. That's what I learned like yesterday. I was watching this video
Mm.
of ETA called like Explainer Testimonial Ad Creator. Yeah.
Well, you see, that's a very fine point, you see, Varnit, because at the end of the day, when I started this journey, I wanted to create 3 or 4 creditable hashtags. So if you
Okay.
go to hashtag Clipit suit,
Mm-hmm.
I have got thousands of people wearing my Clipit suit. And, they'll be wearing it clipping their horse, they'll be wearing it clipping their
Yeah,
dog.
yeah. I've
And they
I've seen your stories on Instagram. Yeah.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And thousands of people now, referencing hashtag Clip It Suit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my walking testimonial. That's my adverts for my product.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Mm.
And talking about the marketing, talking about the branding that you're talking about right now, sharing people, sharing your testimonial and sharing the Wix, right? So how does your pet brand approach marketing and branding? And like what strategy have been the more efficient in building brand awareness and loyalty?
Well, again, if I had a big pot of money, I
Mm-hmm.
probably would throw it at ad campaigns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Truthfully,
yeah.
we're a growing business. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have a pot of money like the big boys do.
Mm-hmm.
So truthfully, my business is growing at a very healthy double-digit growth. And truthfully, Varnett, that has been done all through word of mouth. And
Yeah.
and I think you can't beat word of mouth, because I was always told quality over quantity. And I think if you do, if you do quality, and I think it's also, and I'm still trying to get my head around this. Like last month, we did a post on Facebook about groomers lung and the safety of, protecting yourself, against the hair
What is
penetration.
groomer's lung?
Groomer's lung is it's hair that goes down your throat, and it can produce a really irritating cough, and eventually it can get so bad that you would have to stop grooming. It's a
Okay.
really, really bad condition. So we do a face mask and goggles, and I did that post, and it went viral. And I think in a weekend we sold like 100 pairs of these goggles and visors, and this went throughout America, it went through Europe, it went through the UK.
Wow.
So again, I really wished every post would be as great return as that. But if I had an endless pot of money, Varnit, I would probably throw a lot more of it. But as we're a growing small business, we have to grow within the capabilities of what we can do, really.
Talking about the challenges, like what are the biggest challenges you have faced by growing a business, and like how have you like overcome them?
The growing challenges obviously is financing. So everything is self-financing. So what comes out, we replow into the business. It's time. Biggest one is time, because again, we literally do everything in our business. We do our marketing. Obviously, you've got you guys now that have come on with the SEO and everything else like that. But other than that, we do our own sales. We do our own other social media marketing. We go to shows. We pack the orders. It's time. And that's the restraints of any growing business is finance, time, and staffing. And getting people in, do you know what I mean? Dedicated people that believe in the same story as you believe in. The why. Why are we here to deliver Clipit? And that is the biggest challenge that sometimes we have.
Hiring is a big challenge. Hiring is a big challenge for me also. Like honestly speaking, like I don't want to sound it too pessimistic, but people don't want to work. In my industry also, people don't want to work unless like it is their business. It is something that they think like, okay, I'm associated with this vision, right? Unless that, but people really don't want to work. I have hired a lot of people in my marketing field only for my own marketing. Like I've hired a lot of people. We pay them, but they just don't really work, right? And that's like a really big issue in the, like when you're starting a business. Hiring is a very, very, people talk about a lot of stuff. People talk about, what's the trick, what's the hack, what's the, like how to get more clients, how to sell more services. People talk about that, but people don't really talk about like hiring part of it. It's very tough to control people unless they have like have like an emotional attachment with the goal that you have in your mind, right? It's very tough to tell them that, hey, we have paid you for this and you have to work for it, right? So that's something that I also go through. This is something that we are also going through. There's some problems.
Yeah, and it like I say, it can be a challenge because I want those people that work for me to be as passionate about my customers and the products. So it has to go all the way down to the way the orders are packed. Because we want to come across as a really good quality company supplying good quality products with a great service. And you know what? I won't put up with any like slapdash or anything like that, because you know what? It just impacts on your brand. And and I'm building this company, my brand, Clipit, and my ultimate goal is to bring this brand to the four corners of the world, because you know what? Even in India now they've got dog grooming shows and stuff like that. Dog grooming never used to be a business. That it was poo-hooed, that it was like a small mum and pop sort of business that you would do at the bottom of your garden. No, it's not. You know, dog grooming, people spend more on their dogs now than they do having their own hair done, you know, cut. So I need to make sure that people are on the same path as we are, you know, that are driving the business. Mm.
Talking about the future, like what do you envision for the future of pet grooming, and not just pet grooming, like the pet industry? Where do you think that this is, you know, the curve is going, and how do you see your brand contributing to that vision?
Well, you know, I've got so many things in the pipeline. Some of them I can't really talk about because obviously at the end of the day, other people will start sniffing about. But truthfully, I think, you know, the pet grooming industry will continue to grow. You know, people now, you know, everyone during lockdown bought pets, you know, as companion, you know, population is shrinking. You know, I personally is looking to, you know, move to have a home in Africa. Africa is an up and coming state. If I talk about Ghana in particular, you know, it's one of the youngest countries in Africa. The average age of a Ghanaian is 19. They've got an awful lot of Black Americans moving back to Ghana. So, you know, people are moving around the world. So as people move around the world, they want services like they would get in their home countries. So, you know, you got, let's take, for instance, the Black Americans moving back to Ghana. They you know, they will want services like dog grooming and stuff like that to support their lifestyle. So, you know, for me, Clipit, I see Clipit becoming a franchise for dog grooming. I see Clipit becoming, my biggest thing is, you know, I'd like to see Clipit become a world brand for, you know, creditable grooming products for the pet owner and the pet business. And that's where I, you know, the opportunities are vast, Varnit, truthfully, for my business.
And yes, for your business, also for the pet industry, because recently I saw that in Japan, like people are not even getting married; they're just getting a dog. Yeah, like this is the, like, obviously this is not, like, what do you think? Like, is it like healthy living the way that the people are behaving? Like people are getting more lonely because of social media and all that stuff, and these are the things like that kind of like affect the mental health aspect too. So that's why they are getting a dog, to get the compassion. And like, what do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Japan, I think, was the leading country going back probably about 10 years ago. You know, I never forget when I first saw clothing for dogs and a wardrobe that you could hang the dog clothes up, and it would have its own bed and it would have its own bedroom. And I think Japan was probably the first country to lead down that avenue.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know, I think, you know, truthfully, for me, a dog is a dog. And, you know, we should never feel short-sighted of that. However, there are people that have animals, dogs, as a replacement for family. And truthfully, there's probably a lot said for having a dog instead of children, but, you know, it's everyone's personal choice, Fun, than anything else. You know, I don't have children, but, you know, that's only through my personal choice, because I decided to have horses, and I pursued a career in riding. So, but, you know, I think, you know, at this rate, the world population could start to see a decline, because people will have pets for their well-being, really, more than having children.
Yeah, I guess this is how it's go. This is a new trend that's gonna happen in the future.
It is. It really is a new trend. And they talked about this, probably 15, 18 years ago. And I can remember them talking about it. And I thought, oh, yeah, you know, that's never going to happen. But here we are. It has happened, you know. And, you know, and I think the lockdown, you know, especially the millennials. Yeah, and especially the millennials of this world, they now want pets more than they want children.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that will continue, definitely.
And the last questions of the podcast: what advice would you offer to someone who is interested in starting a career in the pet grooming industry?
Well, pet grooming industry, first and foremost, in the UK, the dog grooming industry is not regulated. And
Okay.
I used to be a director of the Pet Care Trust, which is
Yes,
the
yes,
governing
yeah.
body of the pet industry. I was
Mhm.
also the chairman of the British Dog Grooming Association, and we have been talking about regulation within the industry for a number of years.
Mhm.
And so going back probably, 12 years or more, there was just the City and Guilds qualification. Now, there is a number of qualifications. I can name 4 off the top of my head. And, the thing is with the dog grooming industry not having regulation, it means that anybody can really, truthfully, set up as a dog groomer. Now, that is of a huge concern because more than anything else, you are actually grooming someone's beloved pet.
Yeah.
So, a groomer actually asked me not so long ago, and she said, Paula, do you think they'll ever regulate the industry? And I said, truthfully, no, I at this rate, I don't think they will. And the reason why I don't think they will, it's because how are they going to police it? Because,
Mm.
there's a lot of people that are great dog groomers, but they've been in the dog grooming industry for 20 plus years. And truthfully, they should get what we class as nanny rights, because they've been in it so long.
Mhm.
However, when you come back to, groomers coming into the industry, I always reckon that, and I always believe, and we endorse this at Clipit, that you should really go to an established training school that
Yeah.
has qualifications that you can proudly put up on your wall. And also, truthfully, again, it's all about, continually developing yourself. And
Mm.
I'm a great advocate for people that have passed their training, that they should continue to develop themselves because products move on, styles move on. And that, and I try to say to them, continue going to grooming events, continue developing yourself, because you know what, it's all about efficiency, because
Mm.
it is hard work. And I remember going back a few years ago, the statistics was that 20% of all the new groomers that used to qualify within the year, within
Mm.
18 months, they had exited the industry because they all thought it was a very glamorous job, only to find out it's not as easy and
Yeah.
to become a dog groomer. So it's
Mm.
like any business, you have to work at it. You really should get qualified.
Okay.
Don't be going doing these courses that you can be a dog groomer within 20 hours. That just doesn't work. And do you know what? That does no good for the industry at large.
Mhm.
It's a professional industry. We talk to dog groomers that they should charge appropriately for the effort and the groom that they are providing, because truthfully, you know what? They are, it's a hard day's work becoming a dog groomer. And,
Mhm.
and that's why I say we go back to Clipit. We like to support them in any shape or form that we can do to encourage them to develop themselves. Mm.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was the last question of the podcast. So thank you so much, Paula, for your
That's
time. I
okay.
hope.
No,
Yeah.
and I just hope it's been a great value to people listening to it.
Yes, it's absolutely.